Samsung has been doing something for years, and that's releasing two versions of the same phone. This year too, the Galaxy S26 Plus and S26 base models come in two variants. These models are released with Exynos chipsets globally, but with a Snapdragon chipset in selected countries, including the US, Canada, and China. The Galaxy S26 Ultra, on the other hand, is released only with a Snapdragon chipset, and that would be the first differentiator between the S26 Plus and S26 Ultra. The S26 is supporting Exynos 2600 or Snapdragon 8 Elite Generation 5, and the S26 Ultra is supporting a Snapdragon 8 Elite Generation 5 only. Historically, the Exynos version can be a bit less optimized and drain the battery faster, but this is only a speculation, and we may very well see Exynos being superior this year. At this point, we simply don't know. Exynos this year is 2nm, whereas the Snapdragon is a 3nm chipset. Just to be clear, these numbers are only marketing terms, and neither of these two are actually 2 or 3nm in size, and the channels are closer to 10nm. The second difference between these two phones is the battery capacity, where the S26 Ultra is 5000 mAh, while the S26 Plus is 4900 mAh. Samsung didn't change the camera system much, with the S26 Ultra camera housing having 4 cameras, an ultra-wide, a wide, a 3x, and a 5x telephoto camera, while the S26 Plus lacks the last one. The only real change from the previous year is that the S26 Ultra has a wider aperture for the main and the 5x telephoto cameras, which helps to gather more light. But other than that, we don't see any other changes. For the S26 Plus, we see no difference at all from the last model. That means S26 has the same camera as S25, which is the same as S24, as it was the same as S23 and S22. The other difference you will see in the pictures will be due to the different processing on each phone. You may assume that image processing is only happening on the Android level, but that's simply not true. The chipset is also pre-processing the image. Therefore, the colors of S26 Plus with Exynos will be slightly different than the S26 Ultra with a Snapdragon chipset, and we've seen the same thing before too. The main camera of the S26 Ultra has a larger sensor and now also a wider aperture, which means more dynamic range, better low-light performance, and more background blur. For zoom pictures, the Galaxy S26 Ultra has a 3x and 5x telephoto cameras, whereas the S26 Plus only has a 3x telephoto. The 3x telephoto camera on the S26 Plus matches the specs of the 3x telephoto on the S26 Ultra. But the real difference is when we zoom more, like 5x, where the S26 Ultra will have a better picture quality due to the larger sensor, longer focal length, and also lower aperture. For video, they both offer max resolution of 8K. S26 series now supports shooting in APV up to 8K 30 frames per second. APV provides video quality that is nearly indistinguishable from the original uncompressed footage. Think of Apple ProRes. This helps creators and professionals shoot videos with the Galaxy phones and mix and match them with footage they got from professional cameras, since they have a better ability to color grade it. You can also rest assured that I'm going to test both chipsets and cameras very thoroughly when I buy both devices after pre-order. Please subscribe and wait for those videos to come out. Galaxy S26 Ultra now has a better charging speed at 60 watts, which means you can charge your phone from 0 to 75% in only 30 minutes, while the S26 Plus is 45 watts max. Both phones support wireless charging. The S26 Ultra is at 25 watts, and the S26 Plus is at 20 watts. There is a 4.5 watts reverse charging, but there is no news for MagSafe or something like Pixel Snap, and you need a case if you want to attach your MagSafe accessories without them falling down. The back of both Galaxy S26 Ultra and S26 Plus is made of glass, and if you want to protect your phone, you have to get a case, and I do recommend getting either the Supcase UB Grip or the Supcase UB Pro Mag. The UB Grip case is a stunning rugged case, and it protects your phone from every single angle. The sides are textured, and it makes your phone grippy so it won't slip from your hand accidentally. The corners are protected, and the camera cutout is nicely done. The ports and S Pen placements are also nicely cut. There is also a stand included that can be used as a stand. The colors of the case are stunning, including but not limited to the classic black, the coral, which is my favorite and very flashy, the cobalt, which is another classic and fits very well with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and desert color. You can also get the UB Pro Mag that has two parts and also includes a screen protector. It also comes with a stand like the UB Grip. There is also a holder with it that you can use to attach your phone to anything, including your belt. I put the link to the cases in the description, and thanks to Supcase for sponsoring this video. The Galaxy S26 Ultra kept the S Pen inside, and I am one of those weird people who use my S Pen daily for taking notes. I know I am in the minority though, and for most people, that's not a decisive factor. Design-wise, both phones now come in the same colors and have a very similar look. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is heavier, like usual, at 214 grams, while the S26 Plus is noticeably lighter at 190 grams. They are both really thin, but the S26 Plus is even thinner than the S26 Ultra. There is no titanium anymore on the S26 Ultra, and both Plus and Ultra use an aluminum frame. Also, the S26 Plus is slightly smaller because it has a smaller screen. The display of the Galaxy S26 Ultra is 6.9 inches, while the S26 Plus is 6.7 inches. They have a similar resolution though at 1440 by 3120. The S26 Ultra also has a strong anti-reflective properties, whereas the S26 Plus does not have that. The thing that you probably hear a lot about is this new privacy feature on the S26 Ultra, which is the most notable change from the S25 Ultra to the S26 Ultra, and it is exclusive to Ultra models. We won't have it in either S26 or S26 Plus ever, since it is a hardware feature. Basically, you can select multiple privacy modes, and the selected areas on your display won't be visible at certain angles. For example, if you are putting in your password or want to check a sensitive email, that part of the screen will change in a way that people around you won't be able to see it. There are other improvements for the Galaxy S26 series. The one that I love the most is the ability to do color screening, something we've seen on Pixel phones before. Now you will have the same feature on the S26 models. Both of these phones are running Android 16 with OneUI 8.5 as a skin on top, and will support 7 years of software updates. The other important difference between the phones is, of course, the price, where in most markets you can get the S26 Plus at a few $100s lower than the S26 Ultra. If you want to spend even less money, you can go for the S26 base model that offers everything that the S26 Plus does in a smaller form factor. If you want to see how Galaxy S26 compares to Galaxy S25, you can watch this video next. Thanks for tuning in to TechMo, and I will see you in the next one.